Thanks, everybody. Real quick round of applause for Larry and Clarky behind the bar. That's right, Larry. I just ate up 10 seconds of my 5 minutes for you. So this story is called Dry Skin. It comes in 2 acts. Act 1 is called The Symptoms. 19 years old. I'm home from college. My brother had moved back home to help, kick in the single-parent family and whatnot. He's like 25. We're sharing a bedroom. I have the unfortunate problem of going to the bathroom, wiping myself, and there's a little blood on the toilet paper. It's gross, I know. But there are a lot of people here over 40, so you've been there. So, single parent, right? Close to my mom. I go to my mom and I say, Mom, this is the situation. I could use a hand. Her being in her 50s clearly has a proctologist on speed dial. That appointment happens a couple days later. And when I prepare for the appointment, I'm 19. I just want to reiterate that. I call the office and the woman says, I need you to drink a 10-ounce bottle of magnesium citrate at 10 p.m. You'll go to the bathroom in the morning, you'll be ready to go. I've never been to a proctologist. Show of hands if you've been to one. Yeah, a lot of people keeping their hands down. That's cool. So I drink that bottle. If you don't know what magnesium citrate is, they tell you it tastes a little bit like Sprite. It is colon Drano. I just want you to understand that. So I choke it down. It doesn't taste like Sprite at all. It tastes like death. And I get it done by like 11, and I'm in bed. And remember, I share a room with my 25-year-old brother. If you've ever shared a room with a sibling, like the guy who has 7 siblings, or my wife who has 7 siblings, or 6, or whatever you want, 7, you play the fart game. I want to explain very quickly what the fart game is. Usually somewhere between 4 and 10, or whatever it is you wake up at that age. If you've got a fart, you roll over, you rip one, your brother or your sister hears it, you chuckle, you go back to sleep. You've done this with roommates in college, and I can see a lot of nods and chuckles, so you know the fart game. So it's 5 a.m. and I'm in bed and I'm on my back and I'm like, guess what? I've got the greatest fart in the history of the fart game. So I sort of raise up just a little bit. And I push, okay? I fill my entire bed with feces. And I'm saying my feet are in puddles of what I've eaten for the last week. I told you, Deb, I'd make up for your gross. And I freak out. I'm like, motherfucker! And I jump up and I got the covers wrapped around me and I'm carrying around a down comforter of shit. And I'm running to the back and I wake up my 25-year-old brother who's working 60 hours a week and he's like, what the fuck? Shut up. What are you doing? And I'm like, I shit the bed. I shit the fucking bed. And I run back to the utility sink and I dump everything in there and I clean it up. And I just get it cleaned up and I run and I get in the shower and I alternate from the shower to the toilet and the shower and the toilet and the shower and the toilet for an hour and a half. And I thought I was going to pass out. My mom calls out, it's time for the doctor. And so if you've never been to a proctologist, by the way, the couches are like fucking clouds, okay? They're for people who have ass problems, if you haven't figured that out. So they call me into the back. Act 2, the diagnosis. I go in, I lay on the table, I'm on my side. Doctor, whom I've never met, snaps on a glove, crazy hot nurse right next to him. He says, first my finger. If you've seen Fletch, by the way, in my head, I'm laying there quiet. I'm like, okay, Moon River. Use my whole fist, Doc. So he goes, okay, everything looks good. He's very professional. And we go through that part of the exam, and then he says, okay, next the camera. I have no idea I signed up for this. I want you to understand this. And so if you don't know anything about your colon, most of you do, it's a flat inner tube. And when they want to shove something in it, they inflate it. So the camera goes in, the air goes in. So now it feels like I've got a herd of elephant on the Serengeti just running through my colon. And there's a diagram of the intestinal tract, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, they got to be up to my stomach at this point. I'm bloated, it's horrible. He gets done, and he's like, okay, the camera's coming out. So he's taking the camera out. What comes out with the camera, folks? The air, okay? So the hot nurse and the doctor, and the camera's coming out, and I'm so freaked out, I'm clenched up, you could make a diamond. And every inch, it's like, and he finally goes, you have to relax. Yeah, I'm 19. I should relax. So I do, and he gets it out, and the moment he gets it out, I clench right back up. And he says, behind that door is a bathroom, and there's a toilet, and you can leave any additional air. We're going to go out, get yourself dressed, meet me in my office. And the whole time I'm like beads of sweat, and I'm ready to explode, and he walks out, and the moment the door shuts, and I know she's out, and he's out, I jump off the table, and I run, and this is hand to God true. I run in, I sit down, and I start letting go right above the bowl, and I blow the water right out of the bowl. And now, because I'm 19, and by the way, at 43, I still think this is hysterical, I'm sitting on the toilet, soaking wet, farting uncontrollably, and I'm crying because I'm laughing so hard. Because this fart is awesome! And disgusting. And so I'm done, and I get dressed, and I wipe up, and I clean up like Kathleen did, except it's not a hole in the floor and all that. Thank you, I'm finishing up, and I go into the doctor's office, and I say, what do you got? And he says, well, look, we did a thorough exam, and it looks like dry skin, and I have a script. And I said, Doc, just not for curiosity, how far did the camera go in? I mean, medically, I'm just curious. He said about 2.5 feet. And so I sat there and I went, dry skin? That's my story. Thanks, folks.
Thanks, buddy.